Tuesday. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So, technical difficulties this morning. OMG, you guys. Talk about, like sometimes you just go back into like am I a hot mess express or what's going on? What happened? Whoa. Anyway, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares about that? To the point where my banner on TikTok is yellow. Like I didn't even want it to be yellow. I don't know what's happening today. I don't know what's happening. Good to see you guys. Kirsten Liebelt. We're going to talk about the top 10 insulin resistant signs. This is a conversation I'm having a lot with people in my inbox. So here we go, right? And I want to go from least common to most common so that you can kind of try to identify where you are in the cycle of whatever. And cycle is the wrong word, but just how many of them do you have, right? So, I remember reading things like, there really aren't any signs of insulin resistance. You just have to go to your doctor and, all that BS stuff that we get told. Which is not true. And so I kind of love to clarify that. And you might be wondering so why do you care, Kirsten? Why do you care? Well, I was raised by a type 2 insulin dependent dad who died at 63. And I'll tell you, it shaped my life. The whole reason why I am here talking about this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, the reason why I have a Facebook group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, the reason why we do a 5-day insulin resistant, let's freaking lose weight reset every single month, 21st one, number 21 is in February here. The reason why is because it is maddening that we are absolutely taught really bad information when it comes to jump on in, you guys, on TikTok. It's always good. It's so good to see you guys. Jump on in from the balcony. That we are taught really poor information that keeps us sick and medicated. So if you're tired of being sick and medicated, if you're tired of being like, you don't know if you will ever get back on the floor again to enjoy your grandbabies, you don't know if you will ever travel again and not get to a destination with your ankles swollen and you are so freaking exhausted, all you want to do is nap. If you wonder, is it just an automatic? Is this genetic? I mean, these are the things that were my life, right? So I hated getting to a hotel and putting my feet up against the wall because I was so swollen in my ankles from the travel. I hated thinking that I was going to be like my mom and not be on the floor with my grandbabies. I hated all of that. And so when my dad died at 63, I'm telling you, that had a really big effect on me. Okay. So this is why we talk about this every single day. All right. So let's get into the symptoms so that you can see for yourself where maybe you are. How many of them do you have out of the 10? Okay. Number 1, this is the least common to the most common. Okay. So the least common would be you have increased triglycerides and low HDL. So your cholesterol is off. So I need you guys to think about this for half a second. Okay. Just process this. You are told that your HBP, your high blood pressure, that your cholesterol issues, it's all red meat, baby. It's all red meat. You're so messed up because of red meat. It's the cows. You guys we're so lied to. Track with me here, okay? So you have increased triglycerides or you have low HDL and they're like, ooh, girlfriend, you need to be on an STATIN immediately. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is least to most common. Then you have high blood pressure. You need to be on another med. I mean, I hate to tell you, but you got one. Now you need another one. You need to bring that blood pressure down. And it's probably because you're eating red meat. It's probably so you need to go on a low fat, no meat diet so that you can regulate these things. All right. And I'll bring it all back around at the end. So hold on. Number 3, maybe you'll have, these are least common. You'll have skin tags and usually they're like on your neck. And then that goes right into actually number 4, which are dark patches. So sometimes you'll have those dark patches right here on your neck or underneath your arms. sometimes in your groin area, like your skin is discoloring. Okay, so just to let you know. Number 5, and I feel like this is, Julie, you're losing weight again. Woohoo! Good job, Julie. See, you're doing it. You are doing it. I'm so glad to hear you. And don't forget the increase of meds to balance. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Because they are not interested in healing you. They are not interested in turning things around. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate that. Everybody, like, share, and follow if you want to like have this kind of information, or if you know somebody that needs to hear this information. We do this every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. That is what they do. They do not manage. They do not heal. They do not turn around. They are not teaching you how to turn it around. They're not teaching you anything. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. So number 5, this is super common. This is where I was. Okay. We're going from least common to most common. My brain fog was freaking off the charts. Okay. I'm in my 40s, my upper 40s. I'm working outside of the home. I had not done that for a very long time because I homeschooled my kids. So we homeschooled for 20 years. And I'm working outside the home because we literally lost everything in 2008. Does anybody else remember 2008? Anybody? Yeah, we lost everything. My husband lost his job. The stock market crashed. We lost our 401k. We spent 2 years losing like both of our labs. One died, one ran away. We had a really nice Dodge Ram truck that we loved. I love it. So I would like it again. My husband still wants another one. He was saying to me the other day, I think I want to go back to, we had a quad cab diesel and he just loved it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go back to I love that. Anyway, but we lost everything. And so during that time, I went back to work outside of the home and I couldn't multitask. Does anybody know what that feels like? I couldn't multitask. And I had a lot of people around me that were younger that made me feel really, really vulnerable. Right. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Am I just getting old? Like, what is this? So brain fog, number 5, as we go from least common to most common symptoms of insulin resistance, brain fog is really common. And I think y'all know what I mean because I hear from you. Number 6, because we're going backwards. Number 6. Okay. This is so common. Carol, good to see you. This I hear from you guys, like literally this morning, I got up and I was answering in my inbox this morning, like message after message after message after message. I either get belly fat or I get difficulty losing weight despite efforts. So that is number 6 moving up however, I have to redo my numbers. So that is, that's actually number 4 on the list. So we're going backwards. So that's number 4, difficulty losing weight despite efforts. This happens all the time. This is why you're on that hamster wheel. You're chasing counting points. You're chasing a prepackaged program. You're wondering why the elliptical isn't doing it for you anymore because it is an insulin hormonal conversation. And so you're having difficulty losing weight no matter what you're doing. It's because you're not viewing it through the right lens. Like, grab a cup of coffee and let's chat, shall we? Grab a cup of coffee. This is not a calorie in, calorie out problem. Okay. So as we go from least common to most common, number 4 on the list is difficulty losing weight despite efforts. Good morning, Magda. I know I was a little late, you guys, today, wasn't I? I was technical difficulties, whatever. Number 3, you eat and then you're exhausted. You eat and then you're exhausted. Okay. And it is merely because, well, it's for a few reasons, but when you eat, your body says, we need fuel, right? So the wood stove, the door is open and you need fuel, throw the coal into the fire, throw the wood into the fire, right? And you turn what you eat into glucose, which is a good thing. Too much of it is not, but you need glucose for fuel, right? You have to eat it to get it. It'll turn anything into glucose. So don't be confused by that. Well, you got to have sugar to live. No, you don't. No, you don't. You actually don't. I am not carnivore, but you don't have to have any carbs at all. Just FYI. That's a whole nother conversation. but it'll turn it into fuel. But when that fuel can't get into your cell anymore because you are insulin resistant, that's when you're eating and you're still exhausted because the door is closed. You could be throwing coal at the wood stove or wood at the wood stove or whatever, and it's not getting in there because the door, it's like, pump, boom, boom. It's not getting in there. So you're exhausted because you don't have any energy now. You were supposed to have an open cell. You want an open cell policy. You want an open cell to receive your fuel. And when you can't do that, now you're like, you eat and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Why am I so tired? Why do I want to nap on the living room floor? Ask me how I know. I know. This was my life. This is how I raised my kids. Like, oh, the sun is shining in on the carpet in the living room. All right, we're going to take recess. Let's go lay on the floor. You're exhausted all the time, Kimberly. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It is very challenging, right? So that's number 3. Number 2 on our list of the top 10 signs of insulin resistance are, and I'll repeat all of these, cravings and sugar cravings, sugar and carbs. You're craving, and you're sitting around thinking that it's because you just don't have any willpower. You're just sitting around thinking that it's because you've created bad habits and you need to stop your bad habits, and you're just going to like pummel yourself into submission and be mean to yourself about how you've never been able to conquer this before. And yet it's number 2 on the list of the most common symptoms of insulin resistance. So there's actually a scientific answer for why you are chasing sugar and carbs, and you didn't know that because nobody told you that. You didn't go to your provider and they sat you down and said, okay, number 1, this is completely reversible, so no problem, we got this. You have these symptoms, okay, perfect. We're going to turn back your insulin resistance so that you can actually turn back your symptoms. Like you can stop craving your sugars and your carbs. You can stop gaining belly fat. You can, all of these things, right? No, they're not going to do that for you. I mean, if somebody has, please tell me. If you went to a provider and they told you that, hallelujah, like I love that, right? I am not a doctor. I'm just an Italian girl who figured it out because I saw with my eyes that lazy Susan of meds that my dad had when he was dead at 63. And I went, what's going on? And I kind of stored it in the back of my head, continued to do nothing for a very long time. And he was type 2 insulin dependent. I'm Italian, lots of obesity and type 2 in my family, lots everywhere. I did nothing for a really long time. But when I did, and when I started to figure out what was actually going on, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're not much interested in healing or teaching, right? So if you're chasing those sugars and those carbs, that goes back to your cell door is locked and they threw away, they like changed the lock on your cell to get energy. So your body's going, I need some quick energy here. And you're like, ooh, my body needs quick energy. I must need a bagel. I need a soda. I need a sugar soda. I need figure it out, or fill in the blank. My dad was constantly doing this. We knew that the orange juice in the refrigerator, it was for my dad because he was not stable. He was not doing this. No. He was doing this. So there was nothing managed. There was nothing normal. There was nothing good. But yet he had all of this medication that was supposed to be helping him. Okay. Does that track? All right. So that's number 2. And then, like I said, I'll repeat them. And number 1 is belly fat. Belly fat. That is my life of Italian uncles that had these big hard bellies, and they'd wear their belts underneath their bellies and joke around about having a 32-inch waist, big bellies. And it's the same with us girls. Our belly fat is really, it's a sign of no bueno. That's what it is. Kimberly, I'm your new hero. I'm so excited because I'm helping you, right? I'm helping your brain to stop being so mean to yourself. Yes, 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 yes. This is literally a core value of mine, you guys. Like, get into my world where I'm going to teach you a blueprint of transformation on this. I'll teach you. You do this without shame. No shame. Okay. Phyllis, good morning, Phyllis. Oh, no, you're totally fine. I was actually late to the party before you were late. I had technical difficulties today. Phyllis from Arkansas. I love that you tell me that. Thank you for telling me that. No shame, Ruthie. That's right. No shame. So basically, then, here are the 10 symptoms of insulin resistance, going from the least common to the most common. And then I'm going to tell you a few other things. So, oh, you couldn't find me, Claudette. I know. You know what? That happens. And again, I was late, so you're fine. You're good, Claudette. You're good. All right. 10 most common signs of insulin resistance, going from least common to most common. Number 10. Increased triglycerides and low HDL. So they just put you on an statin. Number 9, high blood pressure. It's coming from your insulin resistance. Okay. Just saying, most of the time, I'm not a doctor. Number 7, skin tags, usually on your neck. Number 6, dark patches, usually on your neck. They can be also under your arm or in your groin. Number 5, brain fog and difficulty concentrating. That was a biggie for me. Number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, difficulty losing weight despite your efforts. No matter what you do, you just can't freaking budge a pound. And the main reason for that is because when your insulin is high, fat burning stops. You're done. You're like, no, you can't have high insulin and burn fat at the same time. Or if you have not fully supported your liver, like we talk about here all the time, it's your fat metabolizing organ. You won't be burning fat either. So there are scientific reasons why. Okay. Number 3, fatigue after meals. You eat and you're exhausted because the energy is not getting into your cells anymore. Number 2, cravings of sugar and carbs. You are chasing energy because your body's not getting it, because the door to your cell is closed. You are resistant to the insulin, bringing the sugar into the cell for fuel. And the number 1 most common sign of insulin resistance, it's your belly fat. It's your belly fat. So I can open up like my messages and I can see belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat. Y'all are telling me when I ask you what's your most common symptom, belly fat. It's really common. So it's the number 1 most common way for you to know that you are probably insulin resistant. So what is happening is this. When you are eating anything that is spiking your sugars too much, and it's because of other factors that are going on, like glucose in your blood is not a bad thing. It's supposed to fuel you. But when you have too much of it all the time, and you could be sludged out for a lot of reasons. Seed oils are a really big contributor to insulin resistance. In seed oils, you would say, well, that bottle of vegetable oil doesn't have any sugar in it. You're right, it doesn't, but your liver can't process it. Okay. Or maybe you've tried to make your liver process too much prescription meds or over-the-counter meds or whatever. Like your body's going, okay, so that's what's happening. Do you like that sound? Your sugars are not getting properly taken out of your bloodstream to put into your cell for energy for many reasons. But when you get to that point then where it's hard to manage that, your insulin can't mitigate that anymore, then they just keep rising and rising and rising. So the number 1 thing you need to know is this. You can be insulin resistant for years and decades before you are ever told by a doctor that you are insulin resistant, because all they're doing is they're waiting. They're waiting. I don't mean the actual doctor, like he's probably a nice person. She's probably a really good gal, but they're waiting for it to show up as sugar in your blood. You can find out a long, 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 long time before it's sugar in your blood. You can get a fasting insulin test, okay? So they're waiting and waiting and waiting. I was 25 years before I did anything. So do you understand? Like you can be insulin resistant for a long time before it shows up in your blood. So that's number one. Number two is that when you finally are, it's starting to show in your blood like, whoa, your sugars are staying high now. You are pre-diabetic. Okay, this is how this goes, right? Then they start the meds, they start the scripts, the suite of scripts. Here's your MET, here's your high HBP, here's your STATIN, which is going to cause, depression. So here's an antidepressant medicine. You get the picture, right? So you get put on this suite of medicine, usually in your 50s. That's what happens. So you're now exhausted because you're not getting energy into your cell. Insulin is having a hard time grabbing that sugar and shuttling it into the cell. It's being met with a locked door. And it's like, what? First of all, I have to make more insulin. Like this, something's wrong with this picture. So more, higher inflammation, makes more, still can't get it into the locked door because the lock got changed. And it goes, oh, I'll be storing this as fat. Because your body is going to keep working. Your body is going to keep doing the workaround and the workaround and the workaround. It doesn't just go, oh, well, okay, no big deal. No. Now insulin is a fat storing hormone. It's going to store your fat. Belly fat, number one, most common symptom with insulin resistance. This is why we talk about this all the time, because you can turn this around. You don't have to do this. You don't have to get put on, in my opinion, you don't have to be put on more and more meds, higher and higher doses, have a lower and lower functioning quality of life like my dad in his 50s, you guys, in his 50s. His quality of life tanked. 50s, he was so young, dead at 63. Like this was my Italian life. That's what I should call the show. This is my Italian life. Something like that. Good morning, Wendy. Good to see you. You fit into this perfectly. I don't know what you mean by that, Wendy. Do you mean all of the symptoms? Because I understand, right? This is how this goes. So when we talk about insulin resistance, I didn't do anything until my upper 40s. And then this is exactly what I share and how to help you. You also have an overactive bladder issues. When you started eating no grains, all of your symptoms got better, including overactive bladder. That is phenomenal. That is really amazing. Thank you for sharing that. For so many reasons. So I teach two things and I teach only two things. I teach targeted supplementation and I teach ingredient food trade outs. And as an Italian girl, that was a really big deal, right? That was a really big deal for me. I thought it was going to be the hardest thing that I ever did. It actually wasn't the hardest thing that I ever did. Do you want to know what the hardest thing is that I ever did? It was not, I don't even have my supplements right here. Well, I've got some of them. It was not supplementing. This was easy. I thought that was going to be hard because I wasn't a supplementer, not a very disciplined routine person at all. And then I thought the food was going to be really hard. Like, oh. But I started listening to somebody like Maria Emmerich, who turned back around her own IBS and PCOS, etc. At a very young age, they told her she'd be on medication for the rest of her life. But she became a keto educator and she's done it now for 30 years. So I started to study being grain-free, sugar-free, legume-free, because then you can take your insulin resistance and you can kind of ditch it. Like, bye-bye, see you later. Don't let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out. That kind of a thing. So when you do go grain-free like that, that's amazing. I mean, think about that. Where's that connection? No, it might be high inflammation. It might be, I don't know. There's a lot of different connections there, right? And you have to understand also that insulin resistance, it is creating leaky gut. Oftentimes there's that connection. So then you are like spilling nutrients out of your body and into your bloodstream. You're just spilling. You're not absorbing You're not functioning, you're spilling. And then your toxins that are trying to go through your gut, they're getting into your bloodstream, and you're just kind of a hot mess express. Your other hormones are going upside down, right? So that's what's happening in this process. So for me, the hardest thing was up here. It was the childhood tracks. Manja, manja, eat. Come on, eat. Show respect. And then when you gain weight because you've eaten to show respect, then you're set, oh, kind of getting a little pudgy there, aren't you? You should probably lose a few pounds. Then you lose a few pounds and, immediately, because nobody else wants to have somebody else winning in this area, right? Don't get too skinny. Don't be getting too skinny now. And that's what's happening, right? In my life. This was me and my story. So the thing is that as you go through this process, I really did think that the simplest things were going to be the hardest things. And actually, the hardest things were what would seemingly be simple. Like, well, just don't believe that anymore. Just get rid of that mindset. Like, no, that's actually the hardest part. And then my heart connection, not my physical heart, my heart connection to food. Thinking I absolutely 100% had to give up food give up being a foodie in order to accomplish what I needed to accomplish. What did I need to accomplish? Well, in my early 50s, in my late 40s, I started to do some supplementation so that I could begin to deal with my sugars. And then in my early 50s, I'm like, I need to finally deal with my food, which I thought was going to be so hard. And so I started to deal with my food. Well, because I got my insulin down, and because I actually got my body to function at a higher level, like I'm talking to you about, I lost 3 sizes in my 50s after my cycle stopped. I avoided type 2. I'm the only person in my family to have avoided type 2. I'm 60 now, and I'm not on any meds. So their provider's formula, matrix formula of however many meds you should have in your 50s, that's not me. So I avoided the formula. I exited the formula, if that makes sense. So I always teach, and you don't have to get everything through me. I know that you are using supplementation from many different places, but I will tell you, these are some of the top things that you want to be able to implement in your life. Okay. And this is where I started. And then I am able to help people navigate their journey through food ingredient trade outs, through tweaking your process so that you can be the next success story. I just had somebody last week, if you have high sugars, I literally 2 different testimonies that just came into me in the last 7 days. The first one is her doctor put not diabetic in her chart. Can you visualize that if you are type 2? He literally said, "You're amazing. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm putting not diabetic in your chart." Okay, that was the first testimony that came to me this last 7 days. The second one is, this one is specifically tied to a fat burner that I have. It's a powdered pixie stick. And she lost in 90 days, 3.5 inches off of under her bra, 2.5 inches off of her waist, and 1 inch off of her hips. That's another piece to the puzzle. So there are layered answers. Okay. So I'll just share with you exactly what you need to do. And then if you want it to connect with me and through me, because you want to be able to have answers for like somebody that can walk journey with you, like that's what you want, then you can connect with me. But I will tell you that you can literally get your body to function at a different level from the inside out. This is not magic. This isn't tricks. This isn't, anything. This is literally called fill in your trace minerals, chromium, picolinate, vanadium. But then this blend, because this blend is quite amazing, they throw in a couple of herbs to help you with sugar cravings and appetite control. This blend is very specific for your liver. You have to get your liver functioning at a higher level so that it can help govern the glucose in your blood, so that your liver can help bring down your insulin and dump excess cortisol. Like your liver is a very, very important functioning organ. And if it's like if it's out of power steering fluid, you've got to put power steering fluid back in it. Okay. So that these are like the best tips that I can give you for working. Like instead of believing all of the, the Facebook ads and the Amazon finds and whatever, like this is real stuff, right? This is actually an EGCG extract that will target your visceral fat and your metabolism. Okay. So it's a thermogenic. Thermogenic, think about it. Thermostat, turn up the heat. Okay. So trace minerals to help you with your insulin and your sugars. Little side benefit, help you with your cravings and your appetite, help your liver to function to dump excess cortisol. Everybody's got like your belly. There's probably a cortisol conversation, right? Also to help govern the glucose in your blood and help your insulin to function better because it governs your hormones, and insulin is a hormone. And then a little bit of a turn up the heat, thermogenic, to help your visceral fat and your metabolism. Okay. That's the trio. This is where I started a little over 10 years ago. Okay. You can go directly to my site if you want to, but I would rather have a conversation with you all day, every day. I would much rather have a conversation to find out what your story is so that I can tell you that may not be for you, but this might be, or et cetera, et cetera. Don't be guessing. You don't just keep throwing spaghetti against the wall when you have somebody like myself able to be able to help you navigate. However, you can go and see a little 2.5-minute video on the trio all by yourself. If you want me to just explain it to you a little bit, that's perfect. My site is kirstenliebelt.com. Okay. Then the other thing is her losing all of those inches off of her, under her bra, her waist, and her hips. That's actually, if you need another, like, if this is a thermogenic, which it is, and you want to go thermogenic, summer's coming, that's when I'm talking about the orange pixie stick. This is where she did that in 90 days. And you literally just put it on your tongue, just like this, every day. It tastes like orange candy for 90 days. That's what she did. And then I did the same thing. I did not measure. I should have measured, but I did the 90 days. I took a month off so that I can get my body not too used to it. And now I'm back on it again. I did measure this time. So I'll give you my real results too at some point. But I really did think that I was never going to become narrow in my hips. I thought 100% that's not going to happen. Maybe because I just turned 60 now, and I thought, I don't know why we do that. We just think, oh, I'm just going to have to live with that. Like, okay, well, at least I'm happy for, and we settle. I'm really amazed. Just saying, I'm trying not to overhype. I'm amazed that I'm becoming more and more narrow in my, like, what is happening. This is amazing. My husband and his love handles. And then the last thing is, if you know you have leaky gut, you guys, reach out to me, because I have an amazing gut reset protocol. And I'm not trying to confuse you with anything. I just want you to know, like, I have a gut primer and a probiotic that would really, really help you. If you know that your insulin resistance has created gut, like you're spilling nutrients out of your gut, you're not absorbing, you know that you don't feel normal. Maybe you're really constipated. Maybe you are really, you have a lot of indigestion going on. You need to deal with these things. You need to up your liver health. That's the primer. That's the primer and the probiotic. It looks like a greens product, but it's not. It's a primer with 6 different blends in it. So I'm just telling you, like, there are some layers that people can do, but where do you start? How do you know? Well, most people do start with the trio. Most people do, but it does depend on what you're looking to accomplish. So reach out to me. Magda says, I sound so much like her past. I know, Magda, isn't that funny? We have a lot of similarities, don't we? And your testimony is giving people so much hope that they too can begin to, like, deal with their sugars, start to lose those inches, like, for real. This isn't magic potion stuff. This is science. So when you have science backing you, like, of course, I want to tell you about the inches, summer is coming. But did you know that this particular clinical extract dose is actually helping you with your insulin resistance at the same time? Like most people aren't going to know that. And it's because we want what we can see and feel when we put on our jeans more than we sometimes care about the fact that visceral fat is like super dangerous. You know what I mean? But that's okay. I can talk to you about, it depends on who you are. Some of you are really good researchers and you are like researching and you know your stuff. And in that case, it's really fun to be able to chat with you about like how this is all actually happening. This isn't jazz hands, right? There's no jazz hands. And anybody can go to a store and start to fill in, different pieces that I'm talking about. I just have it all packaged together so that there's a streamlined, easy way to do it. But the 5-day insulin resistant, let's freaking lose weight reset starts next Monday. Okay, it's our 21st one. And I will go live in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Get in the group, you guys. Get in the group because that is where every month you can take one step. And what happens is this particular blueprint of transformation for you to get you the results of Terry, who lost 40 pounds in 8 months last year, doing exactly what I'm talking about. She did in 8 months. She's 62. Right? Or the text that I received this week that said, I am no longer diabetic. Plus I've lost another 11 pounds since July. Like that takes month after month after month. And so don't just purchase something from anybody, anywhere, an Amazon find or a Facebook ad, and then not get connected to a person that can help you walk journey. Okay? Because that is what I know that I can do is to help you walk that journey. Anyway, I just want to say that. So what do I think of GLP-1 meds? That's a really, really good question. Thank you for asking. So I've never been on one, and so I can't speak from a personal experience. However, this is the dealio. GLP-1 is a hormone and it's made in your gut. So you want to actually support your body to just keep on creating more and more GLP-1. We shut down all of these abilities because of the way that we eat all the time. Like this is very common. You don't even have to be overweight to be insulin resistant. You can be skinny as a rail and still be insulin resistant. Okay. Or you could be like my friend who you would not have guessed that she had 40 pounds to lose. This just happened a few months ago. You would not have guessed because she's very tall and slender, but she found out that she was insulin resistant through some labs. And she was like, ooh, I need to deal with this. So she singled out this particular glucose product and she started taking 2 to 3 of these every time she ate because she has a Mediterranean diet. And to be really honest, it's challenging if you're on a grain diet and you are trying to reverse your insulin resistance. I teach grain-free, sugar-free, legume-free, keto, whole food. I'm still a foodie. I love the food that I eat, blah, blah, blah. I know that meat will fill up all of my amino acids and keep my blood sugar stable for hours. Okay. But that wasn't her choice. No problem, right? So she used this to mitigate. In 2 months, you guys, she lost 40 pounds. Now, there's no way she was going to know that she was insulin resistant. In my opinion, I'm sure she did not have any skin tags. I'm sure she did not have any discoloration. I can't be positive, but I just don't think so. She did not have a big hard belly, right? But yet she had 40 pounds to lose like that. Okay. But that's just the way that goes. So getting back to that question about the GLP-1 meds, my biggest concern over those, and I think that there are probably more, but I haven't studied it in depth, it's the muscle loss. I am very, very concerned about women prioritizing weight loss, and weight can be your impacted waist. It can be your water. It can be your muscle. So if you're not prioritizing protein to maintain your lean muscle mass, I took care of my mom with dementia for 5 years. She died at 94. She needed muscle mass. Don't lose your muscle mass now. I'm 60. I'm not looking to lose my muscle mass right now. Because there does come a time in your life where you can't build it anymore. There does come a time in your life where you can't have any more surgeries because your body can't handle it. It can't take the anesthesia. I'm convinced that the anesthesia for my mom's knee replacement is what tipped her over the edge into dementia. I watched it happen. At a certain point, your body can't do certain things anymore. So don't compromise something as important as your muscle mass. That's just my opinion. I know that I have customers that are on GLP-1s. No shame, no diss at all. I'm thrilled when people are telling me that they're losing weight, but then just know that that is a consequence potentially. And so that you can then work on the back end to fix that. So that's a long answer. Oh, I had ranges on fasting insulin. That's such a good question. And especially because I talked to somebody in the group who was from Australia, and they have different measurements in Australia. In the United States, I don't want to give numbers and not be correct. So I have to look that up, and then I have to come back and answer you guys on that one. I had all the ranges filled out so that I could give those to you guys. But you can go to ChatGPT. Is everybody on ChatGPT? Go to ChatGPT and type in what is a good fasting insulin range and let it tell you that. Okay? Because you do need to know those things. And most doctors are not giving you a fasting insulin. They're waiting until it shows up in your sugars. So if you need to get a hold of me, Messenger on Facebook, and you can say, I need a customized cart, or I would like a link to the trio, or I want to know about that fret burner thingamajig, or like anything that I ever talk about, you can reach out to me in Messenger, my Instagram inbox. I switched my devices today. Or on TikTok, you can message me. I just can't send you anything. So we will have to figure that out, like where you want to chat. Okay. We can chat. I just can't send you stuff. And that gets frustrating for you guys. But that is kind of why I put my site up there, because I'm like, you know what? Listen, you're big boys and girls. You know how to go and do a little bit of research. My link is on my profile everywhere. Okay. It's my first last name.com. I have little mini 2 and 3 minute videos where I can explain to you a little bit about the trio or the gut reset or the fat burner, etc. I don't know that I have. I sort of, doesn't matter. I'm thinking right now about maybe a video I need to make. But the first button on my site says, text me here. So for instance, on TikTok, if you go all the way up to my face at the top and you click on it, and then I'll come up again here, you can click on it and go to my profile. And under these 2 arrows, it's my site. Click on that. Text me. Hey, I was on your TikTok live. You were talking about like the trio. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. Melissa's in the house. Thank you, Melissa. You're amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I was on your live. You're talking about this trio thingamajig. What is that? And then I can help you. You're also going to see a free protein guide. Go get your free protein guide. Go get it. Go get it. Not right this second, or maybe, I don't know. Go get your free protein guide. Understand that it doesn't have to be this mountainous conversation. Oh my gosh, how am I going to get over 100 grams of protein a day? It's not that hard, actually. It's not that hard. You can do it. And I've got it broken down for you. This is what 20 grams looks like. This is what 40 grams looks like. Okay. So go get that. Get into the Facebook community. You guys, I'm going to end with this today. Yesterday was my 60th birthday. You guys sent me the most amazing messages and happiest of birthdays and everything. Like, some of y'all wrote me a letter. Like, you guys are amazing. So I don't mean that in any shallow way at all. Like, what a freaking amazing community of women that support each other, where we come together and we collectively decide that we are exiting the matrix, where we are deciding that we're going to take this into our own hands once and for all, so that we can actually function at a higher level, continue to make good memories. For me, it's on the floor with my grandbabies. That's all I ever want in life. It's just to be on the floor with my grandbabies. I want to be on their level. There's my heart, right? My heart right on my sleeve. See, it's right on my sleeve. That's what I want. What do you want? What do you want from lowering your inflammation, from lowering your insulin, from lowering your sugars, from losing? I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s after my cycle stopped. But it's all because of the lens of insulin resistance, okay? So I'm just saying, and you guys in that group, when we do our resets, which the next one starts on Monday, it's 5 days. It's an insulin resistant lose weight reset. Like your ability to lose weight is inside of your lens of insulin resistance because insulin is a hormone. Don't forget that. Don't let people shame you and bully you about food or your decisions. Don't do that. Okay? Because your health matters. And in 1 year, if what is important to you is to be able to get on an airplane and fly because you haven't flown in a little while, or it's because you want to be able to like go on a vacation and actually walk. You want to do more walking and not hurt all the time. Whatever your goal is, it's a good goal, whatever it is. Okay. And I will walk that journey with you. And then I will cheer you on the entire way. You will not be without a cheerleader. It won't happen. So you just followed me on Facebook. I'm so glad. Did you do Kirsten Liebelt? I just want to make sure you probably did. Kirsten Liebelt is my business page, but Kirsten Liebelt is my Fergali, right? Because I'm Italian, is my personal page. And so you'll just see more different things. That's all. Wendy, the pill she took 2 to 3 that her meals with glucose. Yes, it is, Wendy. Yes, it is. Yep. And again, when we had John Klusterman in, the expert that came in and talked about this line in December, he talked about also really, and I go in spurts of actually mentioning it. He talks about leveraging carb blocker. So think about it while you're transitioning your foods. If you started to really kind of like, because you're talking about trace minerals, you're not talking about an adaptogenic herb and being concerned about dosing, in my opinion. So, taking instead of 1 when you eat, taking 2, and then maybe throwing in some carb blocker if you're eating something that is not 0 carb, like eggs or meat, then, because you're transitioning your foods. It took me 3 to 4 years. I understand. I mean, I want you to get there as fast as you can. Terry dropping 40 pounds in 8 months, she went grain free, right? She didn't have to then pop extras of anything. And what is her non-scale victory? She can tuck in her shirt for the first time in a long time at 62. Doesn't it feel good? Like we all want stuff like that. So thanks for asking, Wendy. You are so welcome. All right. Yes. Perfect, Nurse Jen. I'm so glad. I do collect nurses. I feel like it is, at first I thought, what in the world is going on? All these nurses that I connect to all the time. But then I realized, oh, they're seeing what's going on inside of the matrix and they don't like it. And so it's like almost nurses kind of like take a little step to the right and they start to advocate for themselves because they have to. Anyway, that's just what I've seen. I don't know if that's 100% true. I've never been a nurse, but it's an interesting phenomenon that so many nurses I've gotten connected to, like in business and out of business. And it's just like, because we're all paying attention to our health and we see what's going on. So anyway, all right. You guys have the most blessed day ever on the face of the planet. And I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Do not forget to reach out to me should you need anything that would help you, like a customized cart, like information on the trio, or you need to reset your gut. You want 90 days of like maybe burning a little fat before summer. Just ask me, okay? And I'll help you. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Matrix is a good choice of words. You heard it from a nurse, people. They are the matrix. You have to exit the matrix. I did it. Come with me. Here, I'm going to pull the rope. Come on with me. Come on with me. We can do this together. And you will have like an amazing life because you'll take your health back, take your function back. Okay. See you guys later. Have a good day. Be super blessed.